Do another new set today, and this is another PNI set. This time it's the HP9700, which has a USB charge socket on it. Okay. Right, we'll open it up. So we've got an instruction book, sticker, and a book of tat. We're going to be doing some aerials today. We've got Mark here this weekend, so it gives us the opportunity that Mr. Chippy can drive the test car, Mark can drive my Toyota, and we'll try some of these mag mounts out. I'm going to drive over to Rossby Level Crossing, 6 miles away, the wrong side of a hill, and we'll see what kind of S-meter reading we can get, which ones we can read, which ones we can't read, because I've taken some short ones, some medium ones and some long ones out of their range. I might even be able to find some Midland areas which I bought to do a similar thing. We'll do a comparison between the two. So put those on one side for now. We're going to need that instruction book, aren't we? Oh yes, at least the big writing in these, which is good, especially for people my age. It's actually quite heavy, this. Now we do have a cigarette lighter lead somewhere. That's not it. Okay, well we're supposed to have a cigarette lighter lead somewhere. We'll probably have to rely on the crocodile clips like we often do. So we're going to... Well, we'll see what it does. So 6-pin mic socket. Up-down mic with auto squelch. So at least this is on a plug-in socket. It's a big version of those square and round Amstrad types, but it wouldn't be compatible. I think I've seen this somewhere else. Right, we'll see if we can persuade our crocodile clips to go onto that. And we'll plug it into the test instruments. Put a bit of a heatsink on the back. And inevitably the crocodile clips come off. If at first you don't succeed, give up and go home. Take away the plastic. No sexy music on this channel. And we'll switch on. Okay. Now it's possible on this cigarette lighter lead that only one side is negative. And that's what we've found. Well, it's sat there making some nasty hissing noises. No. long press. Then is it down on the mic? No, that's auto squelch I've just altered. It was on 3, wasn't it? Squelch is another press. There we are. It's on the EU set of channels, so that's no good to us. We need it on the UK set of channels. So we'll just see how that's done. If we can manage to find English, which is the first language. Turn off the radio, turn it back on while holding the PTT and down keys on the microphone. PTT and mic. On the mic. PTT and down. Right. Who would have guessed that? So PTT and down. Switch it on the radio. And then with the up and down. There we go. Switch off. Switch back on. And there we have it. So we'll go to channel 20. And we will switch on picture in picture. Which is there somewhere. There it is. So I'll start off in the 3 watt position on the test set, so we should be full scale deflection. Oh, it takes some time to key up. It's doing 2.5 watts, just under. So there's 3, there's 2.5, so just under 2.5. Deviation, wallow, about 1.8. So let's see what the receiver is doing. So we'll set that up. So we want 2779125 on the signal generator. And we'll plug the synad meter into the extension speaker socket. And the crocodile clip will come flying off. So I will put the camera onto the synad meter. So where are we? 0.3 microvolts. I'll tell you what, it's very good indeed. So it's doing 0.36 microvolts for 12 decibel synad. So it's very good receive sensitivity and a lousy transmitter output. So we'll turn that down. I know people don't like listening to the signal generator. They obviously wouldn't like a job working in an electronics workshop where there's half a dozen signal generators all slightly out of key with each other. When you're actually working in this kind of job, your ears learn to notch out, your brain latches out the noise. You don't actually hear it. I love breaking seals. It's got extra screws in the back. So I've got a pluggable speaker, and let's see if there's any adjustments or whether it's one of those. Now it has got some adjustments. So a bigger speaker than most. So there's no coils. Everything is select on test. That's where a lot of things are manufactured now. So there's no adjustable coils whatsoever. But we do have some preset resistors which are adjustable, and our job is to find out what they do without breaking the set. Just look at the other side of the printed circuit. Absolutely nothing. It's thicker metal than most, and with this heatsink running down this side it's even more rigid. With it having an AM capability, we'll assume that's the modulation transformer, which is bigger than some. There's a relay there by the looks of it. Just wondering if it's multi-voltage. Yes, it is. It's 12 or 24 volts. I was just looking there at the choke and was thinking that was perhaps a 12-24 volt arrangement, which it is. So we have an adjustment there, 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 and there, and there. So that's 5. So in line with what I've been doing recently, I'm going to take a photo of the inside in black and white, and then we can mark off what those adjustments are for future reference. Right, we have our black and white picture. So it's going to be that, 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 and that. I can't see any more. We're probably going to have power, going to have deviation, hopefully. Going to have AM modulation. Perhaps there's AM modulation depth, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll put the crocodile clip back on for the 100th time. It's making a nasty heterodyning noise, I will tell you that. Like it's got birdies built into it. So we're back on channel 20, which is what we're doing the tuning up on, because we need it to work on 2781 UK FM band only, but I'm going to do it into AM just for the demonstration purposes. So looking at where things are in the circuit, I would seriously expect that to be deviation. As the crocodile clip pops back off again. I'll just be doing that every 30 seconds throughout this video, I can see. So we'll get the little oscillator out. And see whether that affects him. Oh, wrong meter. I'm showing you the wrong meter. No, that doesn't affect it. Yes, it does affect it. 1, 2, test. That's too loud. Try it there. 1, 2, 1. Look, that's too loud. 1, 2, testing 1, 2, voila. That's all, spot on. Good. Well, that's one we've discovered. Let's see if we can bring that power from its 2.4 watts. You know what? It's now higher than it was, and I'm wondering if that was power. No, wasn't. Oh, we've got another preset there. Kind of affects power. That one. So in that case, what's that one? Also power. So, yeah, okay. Is it possible this had 1 watt for Germany and the two are now linked? I don't know. So we'll go over to the 4 watt range, the 30 watt range, sorry. So now 30 watts is full scale deflection, so 4 watts is just there. So on the first, well, it would do 6 watts on that. So what does this one do then? Also, how bizarre. I just wish there were service manuals, you know, available. It would help us so much. So there we are. We've got a full 4 watts on it. But why that arrangement is like that, I don't know. So at the moment, we'll put that down to TX power, both of them. Don't know why. So we're left with that, which could be AM modulation, and that is the don't know. I think we will go over to AM. We better unplug that speaker. It's such thin wire, I'm scared to unplug it, honestly. Let's see if we can get the pliers in on it. I still daren't undo it. I've got a rusty screwdriver here, perhaps that will do it. Yeah. Like the Maxon training course for the PM150. There's little screwdriver slots in the side of the case to open it. So, what do you recommend to open it with? Is there a special tool available? I asked. No, you get the biggest screwdriver Woolworths sell. That was the answer. So let's look at getting it into another band. So we'll switch it off. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put that. I'm going to keep that bottom lid on, and I'll temporarily put one screw in because I don't want to do any adjustments without the bottom on because of capacitance effect. I'll just keep that in place temporarily. So with the PTT held and the down arrow, switch it back on, and we need to select EU, I understand. Switch it off, switch it back on. So out of interest, we'll see how many watts it does on here. Still exactly 4. So I'm going to switch to AM. There we go. How many watts does it do on that? 3.5. Now it might be possible that one of those power adjustments is AM. It does not like my equipment connected. So we now need to look at AM modulation. So I'm going to have to retune my test set because we're now on a lower frequency. Testing 1 2 1 2. That's actually far too loud. So we'll go and get the thingy back. I think that's going to be AM mod. And I'm right. Down, higher. Testing 1 2, wallow. Still too loud. Testing 1 2 1 2, wallow. 1 2 1 2. Good. But while I've got this on, I'll just see if this has any transmit effect. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. No. And the other thing I want to just check is, does one of these effect transmit power on AM? So we'll key it up. No, it's spot on 4 watts. I'm not going to touch those. So going back to FM, how many watts is it doing? 4 watts. It's quite well regulated. I'm just going to switch the power supply to 12 volts instead of 13.8. And we'll see if we still get anything like 4 watts. No, we don't. So it goes down, the radio goes down to 2 watts with a 12 volt supply, back to 13.8, 4 watts. So that tells you that the power supply, although it does 1224 volts, it isn't going to like if you're in a caravan and you're on a battery. Some sets do, especially some of the more modern sets, and some don't. So we've done AM, so we'll get our little list. And now it's mystery time. Now, could it be Squelch maximum? I don't know. See, the receiver's here. I'm not even sure what is here. I can't. It's not changing the frequency, surely. So let's go over to the frequency counter. Nope. Oh, I'm going to go back to UK channels. Switch off. PTT down arrow. Switch on. I failed. PTT down arrow. Switch on. Select UK. Switch off. switch back on again. So press the transmit, we get a, we know the set's doing 4 watts, and it goes 1, 4, 8 and 2 more, as if it's like doing 10 watts, which of course it isn't. It's one of these bullshit displays that's just programmed to read whatever. So I'm absolutely convinced there's no twiddling of anything will alter that. But we'll twiddle that just in case. That makes no difference at all. Just in case it is S-meter, but I would think it's pre-programmed. I may as well. I'll go over to the attenuator controls. And I'll plug the extension speaker back in. And we'll select channel 20 instead of the 9 it comes on at. We'll put a S9 signal on the test set of 100 microvolts. And it's reading between 7 and 9. So let's go up a bit. So they've calibrated S9 for 220 microvolts. Well, you know, our book says 100 microvolts, but you know, there you go. It's what you'd call a lazy needle, good buddy. I've just knocked the thing. So I'm not expecting that going to... No, it's not. So now we'll look at Squelch. Now if you remember, I disabled it. So the first press, we're at 0, so we'll advance that. How far does this go? 28 is the maximum. So let's see where that is on the test set. So that is 1 millivolt, which is a bit high. So again, we'll just see whether this affects it. And the answer is no. So we'll turn the Squelch now to the minimum we can. Perhaps that'll be 1. And let's see where it comes in on the test set. So I've parked the test set at 0.3 of a microvolt. I'll put the signal generator back on. So it's coming in at 0.6 of a microvolt. And it's staying in till 0.38. That's a really excellent Squelch. Unlike the Gieson KT3003 with an S7 sensitivity, this is absolutely, as you can see, there's nothing on the meter. Not that the meter means much. There you go. That's great. So auto Squelch. See where that comes in. We've got that set a bit higher, and it's coming in at 1.8 microvolts and staying about until about 0.7 microvolts. So a quick flick of that might get rid of some of that interference you get in towns, especially from Wi-Fi and things. So I am at a mystery with this. We'll set that to midway. Never mind, something might come up with a service manual in the future or a circuit diagram, and we might discover what that actually does. So it seems, a lot of these modern sets we seem to be not able to get everything on them. Let's have a listen to it. We'll turn the signal generator tone off. Testing 1, 2. We'll put the receiver down to channel 20. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Is there some kind of echo on this? Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. How bizarre. Pause the video while we look at the instructions. So going back into AM, I found this was AM modulation depth or mic gain. So if we had that at minimum, it was less sensitive to the mic. And if you had that at full, the slightest background noise fully modulated. So that's what we've come to the conclusion of on that. But this thing seems to have built-in echo, and there's no way of switching it off. I just find this absolutely unbelievable. So I don't know what Mr. Chippy's going to make of it. I'm just going to see if we can see what any of these chips are, and see if something has a Bucket Brigade delay line in it. But you'd expect, although there's menus on this radio, we can show you those. And go into the menus, and we have RF gain, brightness, contrast, automatic noise cancelling, is it? An RF gain. That ANC will only work in AM. So that's back to there. We'll let them time out. You have got scan. Obviously it's not going to switch between AM and FM, but in the UK it will switch between CE and UK. And then if we're a long press, we'll put it into scan. And then go back out of that, hopefully. There we go, and it's gone back. You've got key lock in emergency, and as you saw, we've got auto squelch or manual squelch. Again, it's a bit of a faff, but it does seem like you can, well, we'll prove it. We'll see if we can actually hear anything on it whilst we press the buttons. Because if you remember the other PNI set, you couldn't. So we'll put quite a low signal on, and we'll fiddle with the squelch. Yeah, so we can fiddle with the squelch whilst the thing is receiving in that mode. So that could be worse. So there you are, very good sensitivity, but I just can't overcome this bizarre echo situation. Let's just put the monitor receiver on and just kind of demonstrate. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sounds like I've got built-in metal Mickey. So if that's the case, it's an unsuitable set for anything serious, which is a shame. And it's no mention of this in the instruction book. And this is their idea of over-digital processing. So just before we put it back together and put it on the aerial, I'm just going to go through with a magnifying glass, see if any of these chips are a Bucket Brigade delay line. Right, so we've come to the conclusion that this thingy, this filtery thing, so the flashing one is what it's doing. So it's on. So yeah, NC for noise clipper. Mark, I think we've got this switched on at the moment, so what do you think to the audio?
No, not very good. It sounds like very compressed audio with a very slight echo, so and lots of
yes, bearing in mind I'm on the dummy load. I'm just going to switch it now then to, it'll take me a few seconds, to the off position.
Yeah, okay, so I'm just needing to switch something off my end because I've got some interference. So go ahead again.
Okay, we've timed out. We've now switched the ANC off. So is it better without it, over?
I've got lots of interference. I can't really give you a definitive answer.
Right, well, I'll tell you what, I'll put it on the aerial.
Yeah, put it on the aerial. Dummy load is too much interference.
We're kind of getting a bit of an on-the-air test, aren't we, seeing as Mark's here this weekend? I must say, I think the set sounds absolutely dreadful myself. But we'll see what it sounds like on the air test. Tango 21ZX2 on the aerial.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit better.
So it's in the off position. So if I switch it back on, tell me what you think.
I can't. I've got just something's really interfering with the radio. I can't give you a definitive answer.
Right, have you still got too much interference at that?
Yes, I've got a little bit.
Yeah, I just switched off the tannoy system because the scanner can obviously cause feedback in that. So this is with it in the on position, over.
Right, okay, just go ahead again.
So testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ANC in the on position, over.
Yes, I was just turning the RF gain down so to make a bit of difference. I've sat next to it, so.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point because it's going to be blowing the windows out, good buddy.
Yeah, 10-4.
Right, I'm just going to switch it in the off position. And then we have to wait for it to time out, I presume. Okay, so now we have ANC in the off position. How does that copy over?
Yeah, that sounds better than it was before. It's not brilliant, as I said before, but when it's the other way around, it really sounds compressed and not very good on FM. Maybe all right on AM if you particularly use AM, but I've heard better.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. When I do the on the air test, I'll take my little walkie-talkie into that room and we'll do it as we normally do it, and then we'll do it on AM with the walkie-talkie so people can tell the difference, because it could be that it works better on AM and that FM on this radio is an afterthought.
Yes, that sounds like it to me, so yes. I know you don't normally do AM, but yes, it'd be worth see what the difference is over.
Right, well I'll wind up my video and thanks for that test, Mark.
It'd be interesting to see the on-air test as well with Mr. Chippy out in the vehicle. That would be a good test to do as well.
Roger, Mark. Okay, so a bit of ZX2 interaction there, very useful. So we'll pop the lid back on this. I've never heard anything like this. It's just, to me, it's over-processed garbage. Right, so it's taken the little screw out that I, if you remember, I put in so the whole thing didn't fall apart. I'm just going to cut the power. I'm saying that these days because I've had comments in the past. You shouldn't be doing this, that and the other with the lids off that radio. Right. So what did I say? These are $59.95 I think I've seen them for on eBay. I do like to try different sets, don't get me wrong, because you never know, I might actually find one that I like. We might have to not replace the car sets with Harvard 420Ms after all, which is what we're going to be doing when the weather picks up. So I mean, this is nicely made set, apart from that speaker wire, and it's a solid set. It's a bit weightier than some, and it receives great, and the squelch is nice. It's doing 4 watts, and then it goes and has, to me, dreadful audio, like it's got an echo, but it hasn't. Right, so we're... Have we... Come on. Well, of course, I cut the part, didn't I? Right, so we're on the roof aerial. I'll knock the squelch right down so that we can hear it when we get into the second function of the third menu. Just let that time out. Up, down is only from the mic. One on a Roger. Something on 36. About 40 miles away. And that's between the channels and therefore not legal. $19 a Roger. Right, now I have to activate the squelch. That's auto squelch, we don't want to touch that, we want the second function. And bring that up till the background noise just disappears. But you can do it in real time on this and not be going backwards and forwards. It's taking some shifting. Oh, well, it's 12 is it on this? So 11. The trouble with these digital things, you haven't got the finesse of having a rotary volume. So you don't know whether it's the threshold you really want. It's a digital threshold. It's like those early music centres where they had they started to have up-down controls instead of a proper volume control, and people found that the volume they actually wanted it was between the 2 steps, and this is how I feel with these digitally activated squelchers. So there we are. So you've heard what I've had to say about that. At least we were able to make some adjustments. And I think we'll all look forward to it on the air test for this. So thanks for watching the PNI HP9700.